And hello everyone, and here we are again with what remains of Edith Finch. Now this is the second part, so we've already gone through Molly, Barbara, Calvin, as you can see on this family tree, and Odin, and we've got quite a few characters left to get through. Basically we're working his way through the Finch's house, and pretty much each room holds a different story for the different family members. There's a lot. It is very much story based, as I mentioned in the previous one. But if you haven't seen the previous one and you've just joined it midway through, then I only try and talk on bits where there's no commentary. The thing is, it's very much story based. It's very much a narrative. So you get the character Edith, talking her way through the game, along with the other characters. So when that happens, I keep quiet. And although this does include commentary, I don't really say that much unless I really feel the need to talk about the game. Anyway, let's get on with it. We've just seen Barbara meet her demise by being eaten by monsters. So let's carry on and see what else is in store. Let's close the book. And now we've got to find where to go next. If I'm not mistaken, I believe we get back in here.
I guess now I know why Mom didn't like me playing with the music box.
And through here we go. This house is full of secret passages, secret rooms, all sorts.
Edie's father Odin built the original house.
There.
Barbara was a child star for 2 years, until America grew out of it.
Each door to the rooms, it's got a little peephole. You can see what's inside before you even enter it.
Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara. The last time I was in Edith Sr.'s room, I was 10 and she was painting my portrait.
That's Edith's room, Gregory's room.
As a kid, I just assumed every house had peepholes and sealed rooms you weren't allowed inside of.
Well, Gregory's room was a bathroom, which we've been in. Calvin.
My Grandpa Sam spent 7 years sharing a room with his dead brother, Calvin.
And this is a room we've already been in as well, which was cordoned off. Calvin's side were cordoned off.
It's funny. All those times I played with the music box and never found the basement key.
So now we're making our way down because I do think we need to go to that music box. I think that's how we enter the basement. Yep. Keep winding it. The key should pop out. There we go. Let's make his way down. And in the last part, this is where Barbara played through that comic section.
Mom said the basement was off limits, unless I wanted another tetanus shot. I saw Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages. I thought maybe she was hiding presents. It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that.
So we've got
asking Mom once about where Walter had gone.
a cabin here, goes underground.
She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could.
Like a bunker.
If there's a pattern in all these stories, I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
Yep, so we're about to see Walter's story now.
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years. On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week.
So we're going to open the can.
But after a few days, I settled into a routine. That's what kept me sane.
1968.
Having a schedule, living for today. I always expected to be dead tomorrow. But if you wait long enough, you get used to anything.
In 1976, January.
Even a monster on the other side of the door starts to feel normal. Almost friendly.
I think I'd have got bored of these pictures by now.
And then one day, everything just stopped.
2005.
Whatever that thing was, it was gone. Maybe you got tired of waiting. Or maybe I just got tired of being afraid. It's been a week now, the longest in 30 years. I'm done waiting. I have to leave. Well, I still can.
Is that enough? Eerie music.
I know it's out there somewhere.
But what is it?
Whatever killed Barbara and Molly and Calvin. Maybe this is all a mistake. But I need to stop living the same day, even if it kills me. Whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it. I'm going to appreciate all of it, especially the food. I don't mind if I only have a year left. Or a month. Or a single week. I'd be happy with one new day. I can already imagine the sun on my face.
Damn.
Walter died when I was 6. I can't believe my mom never told me he was down here.
Yeah, I don't know where that train came from. Poor old Walter.
I'm sure my mom was trying to protect me.
And now we're following his footsteps.
Maybe she was afraid I'd end up like Walter. But if she never told me about an uncle under the house, I can only imagine what else she was hiding. I don't want to make the same mistakes she made. Trying to bury something that's still alive. Now that there's only one of us left, or maybe two, I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself and found out what happened to everyone else. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem. Maybe we believed so much in a family curse, we made it real.
Walter. The train track ends there. We take this path down here.
I don't know if I should even be writing this. Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me. But I thought you should know about your family. And the history you're a part of. Though to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now. I think the people in these stories believed them, for what that's worth.
I like how all the lights are lighting up as we pass them.
And when you look at the house, that history of imagination and stubbornness and madness, any of it seems possible. I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it. What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house? It's embarrassing for me to admit this, but the pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one. 3 of the gerbils are mine, and 2 had been my fault.
Sirpy, Lurpy, Furpy, Chirpy, Burpy, Derpy and Derpy Jr. Daisy, Lucy, Charlie, Tucker, Coco's and Zoe. They're the pets. Well, Christopher, Shadow, Bob, Oliver, Shatsy and Bailey.
Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery.
That's clever. Like that.
I'm sure Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away. She
Odin's
gets it
monument.
poking out of the water at low tide.
Let's have a look. Zoom in.
Edie said she dreamed about the old house every night. Edie's side
Strange.
was always easier for me to understand. But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from.
Gregory,
Her dad had been
Sam,
pretty
and
strict,
Gus.
but it wasn't enough to save her brothers. She was just trying to do better.
Milton, Sanjay
She
Kumar,
lost 2 of her brothers,
Lois.
just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us. There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday and find everything out for myself.
Treehouse.
But looking back on it now, if she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
Oh, that's creaking a bit. Jump. So back into the house.
I never met Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common. They were both pretty intense.
It's definitely the music that gives it a more horror feel, a more
Instead of hiding from death, Sam
Scary
seemed to go
atmosphere.
out of his way to meet it.
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime.
Am I gonna have to shoot anything?
It's a hunting trip, Dawn. Shooting is strongly encouraged.
So this little story is based on this camera. We're looking through the lens. We've got to find a good shot
What?
and take a photo.
Perfect.
It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it? I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
That's this. Okay, got it.
I'm gonna take some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. That camera's older than you are.
They do get a little bit trickier, these. You've got to find exactly the subject.
You're right, Dad. It's starting to clear up. Still freezing, though.
I mean, you can take photos of anything. So I want to take a photo of them birds. But it don't move on. The story don't move on. So who we after there? Where is he?
Definitely should not have drunk all that coffee.
There he is.
Hold still while I
Get in
take a picture of
focus.
you.
Hey!
Oh, he's having a pee.
That's a keeper.
I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Dawn. You'll need to remember this stuff, if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Dawn, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious. Doesn't being out here make you want to chill out?
Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't been out here in 20 years.
Where is he? Oh, he's there.
Last time I was with my brother Calvin. Man, that was a great trip. Dawn, don't you think you could find something more interesting to
Oh, it's not him I'm supposed to be photographing. About deer hunting.
Your grandpa Sven taught us how to fish, how to build a fire. found an old logging trail. There were deer everywhere. I bet if I could remember where that trail was, we'd spot a buck for you in no time.
Dad!
Good eyes, Don.
That's the one.
Before you take the shot, let me get a picture of you.
Oh, she's there.
Dad, I...
Let me get behind you.
Do I have to do this?
Don, you don't have to do anything. But if you want to survive, you'll need to be strong.
Oh,
Great shot, Don!
damn.
I'm proud of you, Don. Always remember that, okay?
Get up. Come on.
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally
so...
normal, Don. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about...
Dad!
Ooh. And there is his death.
Of all these stories, that's the one I wish most that my mom had told me.
So that's Sam's death. Let's move on to the next one.
Sam spent his life shooting photos, but Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera. I guess we're all afraid of something. After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
I'm going to just stop here before we do it. I've got to say, this is my favourite part of the game. It's little baby Gregory. And, yeah, it's his death. But it's so very well done.
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it. I think he saw things the rest of us don't.
So now we're controlling this frog, which can do jumps.
That's over, Gregory. It's time to... Hold on, sweetie. Hello? Sam, I told you I don't want to talk right now.
I wonder
Pop
if he
these
saw
bubbles.
what his world was like. He reminded me so much of Calvin. Lost in his imagination. Whatever it was he saw, It sure made him happy.
This is brilliant.
I know how silly it sounds. But I worried about a baby being too happy. But I could feel him slipping away.
Sorry about that, Gregory.
I know you did everything you could. Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
Damn it. Hold on, I don't want Gregory to hear this.
I wish he could have told us about the world he saw.
And the bath is filling up. Mama's away.
So much I don't understand about Gregory. About everything. But I know what happened wasn't your fault. I'm sure he's happy. And he'd want you to be happy too. Good luck, Kay. Love, Sam.
How cool was that, though? I know it's his death. He drowned, but I just find it brilliant how they've done it. Who are we moving on to next?
My mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died. At the time, it was as far away as she could get. Religion was another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died.
This part took me ages to get past. I didn't really know where to go. I kept looking at that, and then I'd go down this pole,
Like for her to lose 2 sons after she'd already lost 2 brothers.
and then I'd end up coming back up. I didn't have a clue where to go. I didn't realise there was a window there. But anyway, let's move on to this bit. Dawn and
She spent a summer
Sanjay.
building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
Here we go.
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Louis was born a year later.
We're climbing up the house.
When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back. And to see kids in the house again. The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that. And for a while, things were good. Almost normal. But it didn't last. The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle. After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
Yes, and Milton's the artistic one out of the family. Nice views. Now then, if I'm not mistaken, this next one is very clever. In part one I did mention where you had to work in a fish factory and you kind of played it like a game. It's really well done. If it is this bit anyway, let's find out.
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
Doing a little flip book.
I was 4 when Milton disappeared.
It's not Milton then.
Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors. Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
Oh, we go.
Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Lewis blamed himself. After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery. Everyone always told me to stay out of Lewis's room. Except Lewis.
Could be Lewis that ended up at the cannery. That's broken stairs, I can't get that way. Is that expanding foam? Yeah. She's sealed door with expanding foam. I don't know about anybody, but I'd love to live here. It's fantastic. I reckon this could be my favourite room though. This is where I'd live if I lived at this house. In this cockpit.
Lewis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
Yeah, This guy was chilled out. Don't know why.
Dear Mrs. Finch,
Here it is.
as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life. He kept working at the cannery, but he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to wander.
I'm controlling this arm here for the fish with the right joystick, and yet I'm controlling this guy on the left like a video game.
He said he started small, imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about. Then something moved.
You'd think it'd be quite tricky, but
And
it is actually
and things that have not names. He knew it was all in his head. But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself.
And what's the video game part of it? Just watch how the graphics change
But he found something.
and get better and advance.
I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on.
Now we're even more advanced.
I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend. On the edge of a city named Lewis Topia. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians. And songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him. That all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination. So he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor. And he won. They begged him
That a
to
nod
stay,
to Mario?
but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him.
And now we're controlling this boat. It's fantastic.
He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville. St. Louis. He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis, until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Lewis kept sailing on. In Lewisburg, he heard rumours of a...
I went on some Queen last time. I'm going to a beautiful prince.
beautiful prince.
I don't think it really matters.
The prince was on his own quest for...
I'm going to go sinister serpents.
serpents. He followed the sound of his silver harp. His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound.
We've now gone full screen with the game.
He knew the world was
Of a
all in his
story.
imagination.
They're getting harder now because I've got all these fish to chop up.
But he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king. For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace.
This guy's proper daydreaming. He's lost touch of reality.
My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him. He began to forget the world we know. I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker.
I bet it smells a bit in there.
He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
This is his job.
I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions.
It's a genius bit of storytelling, this game.
Wise Calico had insisted on inviting him.
There's Molly. Molly the pet cat.
His prince waited, holding his crown. There was only one thing left to do. Bend down his head. The rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
My brother was
Oof.
really cool. I wish you could have met him.
A gruesome end to Lewis, I'm afraid. Who we got left then? There's not many people left now. Dawn, Gus, and Edie.
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed. But I understand why we left. My mom ended up leaving everything behind.
I thought that said Dawn French at first.
What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner. But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night.
May even be coming to the end of the game, viewers.
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
the power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
It's almost taking a sad turn to it now.
The thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning, okay?
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way. I got turned around.
It's gotta be here somewhere.
For a while, I wandered. I started seeing things. Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go! I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great-Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot.
This bit took me a while to figure it out, but you do actually have to move your hand up and down.
A few years went by. My mom didn't like to talk about it. But she started getting sick a lot. She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you and tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way. This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
Oh, fantastic game, eh? It's not very long, just shy of 2 hours. Like I said, this is my second time playing it, and yeah, even this second time, equally as good, equally as, you know, emotional. Some great bits in there, some great little, I don't know if you call them mini games as such, but you know, you control the characters, and like I say, it's not really anything like an action game. It is a story. It's an interactive story. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope my commentary didn't get in the way too much. Hopefully it didn't. Anyway, that is the first playthrough. What Remains of Edith Finch by Giant Sparrow. I've played this on PS5. I do believe it might have been a PS4 game, released on the PS4. So with that, and until my next playthrough, thank you for watching. And until then, all the best.